Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And our guest today is Vainius. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us what you do and where you live.
So my name is Vainius. You can also call me Wayne, so it's easy for you. I'm the founder of software development agency. I'm my next lead developer and a team lead from a pretty large company. I was the team lead of a three largest e-pharmacy companies in the Baltic states. And by that, I'm from Lithuania.
Awesome. So how did you get the idea to start your business?
It's actually a funny story. It dates back to when I started going to the university in my first years of English and Spanish linguistics. So it has nothing to do with software development or even business. So to put it simply, I started going to this English and Spanish linguistics, thinking I'll become a translator or interpreter for those European Commission type of things. But after like 3 months, I suddenly realized it wasn't my choice. It was actually my parents' choice. So I kind of did what they wanted me to do. But I didn't really want to become a translator. I wanted to do something else that's more creative. So we started looking into web design, graphic design, maybe in general. I hopped on Upwork, started landing gigs, and learning as I went through those projects. I don't even know how to say this, but I spent hundreds of hours outreaching people. My outreach, my messages were utter. So sorry to say that, but I think you actually had to do that to appease to the customer, or I mean to the client at that time, and it was actually a race to the bottom. So you basically had to offer the lowest price and do the highest amount of work possible. Yeah, but I did in fact land 2 or 3 pretty much permanent clients at that point. I was doing YouTube thumbnail design. I was doing email template design. I even got to touch some of web design basics. So it went for 3 or 4 years like that. I was day studying my thing that I didn't actually wanted to study, but my honor of I was too scared even to drop the degree and go do something else. And this transition from studying by day and working by night on something I was not even in that related field gave me an idea to why not do this thing on my own. Why not start a small company or something? But then I looked into my legal things in the country, how much I need to earn to start a company, and I found out, oh, if you're making less than 2.5 grand per year, you're okay. You don't need to do anything. So it just went by. Then I remember I got into an internship for translators. I was then doing translation gigs, web design gigs, graphic design gigs, and the internship was for some company in Lithuania that wanted to localize, not localize, but internationalize. Yeah, that's the word. The website. They were dealing with traveling businesses. So they had a bunch of content that I needed to translate from Lithuanian into English. And they kind of introduced me to web development because I had to translate the text, the content inside, the HTML tags. So I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Okay. What is that? So, oh, this is how the websites look underneath. Okay, that makes sense. And this led me to actually graduating and start and getting a master's degree in information systems management, which is closer to software development. And there I learned how to, deal with databases, how to properly structure code, and do software development, and manage projects, manage clients. And there I met a professor who owns the largest VPN and cybersecurity company in Lithuania, Tesonet. I don't even know if you heard of it. But yeah, and he was interested in my personality and my work ethics. So I set myself a goal. Okay, I need to build a website. Okay, let's do that. And during those first years of my master's degree, I met a guy who was into cryptocurrency. Yeah, it goes into the crypto bro space. Yeah. So the story goes like this. I needed to get a job. I need to pay, for my rent, for my food, for everything. And it was 2017, the year of initial coin offerings. It was a huge booming market at that time. And this guy
The
said,
good time to buy. The
yeah,
good
the
time
good
to
time
buy
to buy.
crypto.
Yeah. And this guy said, I need a website, I need to track data, and I need to reach out to customers to sell advertising, essentially. So we got together, we started a small business called ICO Daily. And I was responsible for running this website I had no idea how to run, but it was WordPress. As silly as it sounds. We had the database on Excel spreadsheet. I mean, Google spreadsheet that had a connection to this WordPress site. And I would come in every single day, go through like tens of websites, get all the ICO projects, list them out on that Excel sheet, create a email list for those projects, and spend 3 to 4, even to 5 hours outreaching to all of them. Needless to say, I got exhausted. I got burnt out. And yeah, this was my day job at that time. And while it made quite a lot of money, I learned how to do outreach, even though my email copy was crap. It was the worst thing I could actually do when I look back. It was, the huge paragraphs like you're writing a novel, and at the end you say, "Do you want our services? The price is this and that." So the response rate was, I didn't even know, like 10% maybe. But surprisingly, we did land some clients. We did make up to $50,000 in 6 months. But I give a lot of credit to the bull market at that time. So yeah, coming back to this professor who owns the business, the goal was to build a website. So the purpose of that website was to improve upon what I was doing at my previous work. The guy essentially let me go. We split. He took the money. He went abroad to never be heard of. I don't know. He just kind of disappeared. So out of spite, I believe it was out of spite, to actually recoup some of that, I don't know, lost time, and to actually learn something valuable, I started this website. I applied my so web design skills on it, and started learning backend development and front-end development. And that website was the first SaaS thing I ever done. It was called Token Lion, and it was a registry of the same ICO projects, but it was more in depth. It had all these charts, all these price monitoring tools, social media monitoring tools. I was even measuring the sentiment, day by day, how people react to this certain project, and trying to correlate this with the price. Yeah, and I just took my previous so email outreach skills, landed a few clients, and then the bear market came, and it all came crashing down. It was like 6 months in the master's degree. I showed this website to my professor. He said, dude, we will invest in you. We'll give you all the money you need to continue developing this thing. Just, I don't know, pitch the project to us. I tried and I failed miserably. I didn't know how to pitch. I didn't even know what to say and when to say it. So it was basically, oh, it has this and that feature. What kind of value do you provide? I don't even know. It has things. Does it have any value? Oh, I think we do advertising, and that's about it. Okay. And it kind of died. But I learned that I don't want to do translations. I want to do software development. So I started doing those bootcamp tutorials and all that thing on web development and software development. I went to internship for 4 months doing Magento 2 e-commerce development. So it was pretty fun, but it was, man, like working with a dinosaur.
You enjoyed a lot of flavors out of
Yeah.
all the CMS, WordPress, Magento. Have you ever worked on
Jeez.
Zen as well?
Probably not. I think I had Drupal
You missed.
and something else. I had something
You
else
worked
too.
on Drupal, yeah.
Yeah, so
PrestaShop.
probably. It was Magento 1,
Yeah.
Magento 2, Drupal, WordPress, and I think
Shopify.
PrestaShop and a little bit of Shopify, yeah. But that was further in the future, so I'll talk about it. So you can see the story is kind of all over the place. I went from something related to translations, writing, even copywriting, if I may say so, to being a self-taught developer. And after that internship, I was hired by this company where I landed that lead developer position. But I was hired as a front-end developer. I had zero experience, but I somehow managed to sell myself. It was probably the combination of having the lowest price, from Upwork, and being eager to learn new things, to experiment. And I stayed there for 4 years.
Do you mind sharing actually like a little bit more about what you currently do? Because I know you mentioned software development, but obviously,
Yeah.
you have a certain niche. Like, if you can talk more about like your current business, 'cause I think that we would like to know kind of, what differentiates you. How are you better? Like your one man show, you're obviously very efficient. Like, what exactly do you do?
What exactly I do? So I started my own business 2 years ago. Oh, wait, let me check. No, I need to check this. Sorry. Oh, it's 11 months. So 1 year ago. Yeah, okay. 1 year ago, I quit my previous position and got the idea to start my own business from a colleague. He runs the same type of business. So it's a one-person agency. It's not like an LLC, but a small partnership. It's called a small partnership, yeah. I opened a small partnership and I started offering, custom software development business, making websites, automation primarily on Discord, Telegram, and email automation. So SendGrid APIs, MailerLite APIs, Discord APIs, and all that. Soon enough, I think it was like 2 months in opening the business, I landed my first client, but it was also a cryptocurrency client. So I did all of the automation software for them, for Discord, for Telegram, for Slack. And I started a SaaS that was strictly tailored to that project. So it was monitoring all the vitals, all the market data, all the essential information there. And I was doing community management as well. So the business is nothing special really. And only this year I realized I could try something new. So I'm trying out this custom web development or custom software development as a subscription model. So I'll be doing this a new pricing model that I got inspired by, if you know, Design Joy. I think you heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're doing pretty okay with, well, that's not pretty okay, but they're doing great with just providing design services as a subscription. But I think the same is possible with software development, but it has to meet certain criteria. It has to fit inside a certain, let's say, a box of hours and requirements. So instead of doing this, email basis or just on a Trello board, I will try to allocate as much, not as much hours, but a certain amount of hours for refinement calls, consultation calls, and actually deliver on said piece of software. So this is my different take on software development, essentially web development and automation.
Cool. So, by the way, you are working on AI as well, or not for now? Because you are working on a lot of things, so I thought you might be working on AI as well.
I did have a small solution for integrating AI into transcribing AMAs or meetings, feeding that transcription into ChatGPT to come up with a summary and bullet points. So I did work with AI, but not to a degree where it's the only business I do.
That's cool. So you mentioned that you're in Lithuania. So do you
Yeah.
Are most of your clients in the US, or do you work with a lot of Lithuanian clients, or where are most of your clients based?
I say it's global. It's all over the place. Most are in Europe, some are in the US. I'm meeting a client, a local client from Lithuania in a few days. So it's all over the world.
So in terms of local clients, you mentioned Lithuania and the Baltic. I know, for example, like Qasim's in Pakistan. I think a challenge that we have is like we don't typically work with people in Pakistan because like they're not going to pay what we want to charge. So,
Mhm.
you being in Lithuania, do you have that issue? I mean, I don't know anything like about cost of living or, I guess like what does that look like for you in terms of local clients?
Um, s- since we're in Europe, the cost of living is pretty much unanimous across the continent and the group of European countries. And the thing with software development is that we have quite a number of private companies that, private businesses that do software development. So there is no issue going and partnering with them because they receive quite a lot of money outside of the European countries, if especially from the US. So there is no issue charging what we're charging.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it may be on the lower bracket compared to the US, but it's pretty good enough, I would say.
That's awesome. So, in terms of, top priorities for you and for your business,
Mhm.
like what would you say that the number one priority is for you in the next 3 to 6 months?
What's my priority in 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, for your business?
Specifically on business.
Number one priority, yeah. I mean, everybody has like
Hmm.
top priorities. For example, for us, our top priority is, improving our lead generation process. I mean, we've been working through that. So that's like as of today, that's our top priority. That's a big pain point for us that we're working on improving. So I guess like what would you say that it is for you and for your business?
Well, since it's a new thing, so my priority would be to collect testimonials and build a client base, essentially. I do have a network. I do have a few people who are actually using this right now, but you still need to showcase what you do. So it's pretty difficult when you start something new and you don't have anything to showcase essentially, especially when you come from a 9 to 5.
No, I was just going to ask. So obviously we met on Twitter, right? So
Mm.
what would you say has been your number one channel in terms of reaching people? Has it been Twitter or LinkedIn, or like where have you been able to find most of your clients?
Yeah, surprisingly, it was Twitter. the other half of my clients come from Discord, from those crypto communities, and surprisingly they have nothing to do with crypto now. So just good old business, good old real life solutions, I would say.
Awesome. So in terms of, advice, I mean, you mentioned that you're a new entrepreneur and you made the jump from the corporate world, which I think is not an easy thing. So what advice do you have for somebody that maybe was in your shoes a few years ago, working in the corporate world, thinking about being an entrepreneur that wants to make that jump?
I would suggest stay as long as you can and learn as much as you can, especially if you're a specialized, worker. So I was specializing in front end, but I had the ability to work on back end and become a lead developer, which gave me a huge advantage going from 9 to 5 to working on my own and providing some sort of service. So my advice would be learn as much as you can and work for at least, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years before making the jump. And always have a backup plan and savings.
That's good.
Yeah, because I made a mistake actually. I was planning on starting my own business while working 9 to 5, but I ended up just going cold turkey. I quit. I have nowhere to go. I'm burnt out, and I'm starting my own company. What the hell?
Any regrets so far?
I didn't have enough savings, so I had to act fast. So my only regret, I didn't save as much as I would have probably wanted.
So I guess if somebody wanted to reach out to you or to find your company, can you share your link or the best way to reach you?
The best way to reach me would just be going on my Twitter. I have 2 links. One is my personal website. The other one is my agent's website. And where do I drop the links?
Yeah, we can just share. I mean, you can just, you can send me, like I have your Twitter, but I guess if you can just
Sure.
maybe just mention it, like the name of your website, like what's it called, and that way people watching this can go on your website and find your business.
Okay, so the website is pretty simple, modiggo.com. It's Modiggo, Modiggo with 2 G's because it's the OG. And my personal website is Wayne Myko, stands for Vainius Mykolaitis, just anglicized. Yeah, that's about it. It's all on my Twitter account.
Awesome. Well, Vainius, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We learned a lot and we're rooting for you. Hopefully, we can have this conversation again in a year from now or 2 years from now, and you'll have even more clients. So
hopefully.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
See you.